Max Verstappen told us Imola changed everything. As Red Bull and Mercedes have contrasting fortunes early in 2022, Max Verstappen put a lap on Lewis Hamilton during Sunday's Grand Prix at Imola. Max Verstappen acknowledges that judging the conditions while leading the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix was difficult. All drivers started on intermediate tires since the track was damp at the start of the race due to earlier heavy rain. However, knowing when to swap to slick tires was critical because the circuit dried up during the competition. Verstappen appeared to get it right as he built a lead on his way to his second win of the season, with Red Bull colleague Sergio Perez completing the 1-2 finish. Verstappen about Hamilton. Given Mercedes' slowness all year, Max Verstappen said it wasn't really a surprise to lap Lewis Hamilton during the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. At Imola, Verstappen surged to his second season victory, while Hamilton fought to a 13th place finish after spending the race stranded in the midfield. Verstappen's Red Bull and Hamilton's Mercedes were so far apart in terms of speed that the Dutchman placed a lap on his 2021 title opponent in the closing stages. Verstappen reacts to lapping Hamilton. During the post-race press conference, Verstappen expressed his dissatisfaction with the development. "I mean, they've been sluggish all year, so it's not like I'm pleased lapping Lewis compared to anyone else. It is what it is," Verstappen told RacingNews365.com. Verstappen was more concerned with Red Bull's ability to recover from a recent spate of costly retirements, which they accomplished admirably as teammate Sergio Perez finished second for a 1-2 finish. "It's always difficult to achieve anything like that," he said, "but we were on it already on Saturday and the day before, and I think it was looking like a strong weekend. Today, you never know how competitive you'll be based on the weather, but I believe we performed everything well as a team, and this 1-2 is well deserved." Verstappen not happy with rain during Imola. It was already pouring in Imola on Thursday, and it will continue on Friday. As a result, the drivers are anticipated to complete the first free practice and qualifying sessions on a wet circuit, according to Formula1.nl. Verstappen expressed his disappointment at the rain at the news conference, saying, "I came for some sun, actually." Verstappen also claims that his team has been working hard to enhance the RB18's dependability. The Red Bull driver claimed that his car was competitive on all circuits, but the results in Australia and Bahrain were disappointing. Those issues, however, should be resolved at Imola. Verstappen about F1 racing. On Saturday, the world champion recovered from a poor start at Imola to win by overtaking Leclerc on the penultimate lap, securing pole for Sunday's main Grand Prix. Despite the exhilarating nature of his pass and the extra points he has gained, Verstappen maintains his long-standing disdain for sprint weekends. He has previously stated that having only one practice session before qualifying is inconvenient and that Parc Ferme regulations lock in the car setup from Friday afternoon. When asked if the thrilling race had altered his mind on sprinting, he replied, "No, it hasn't for me. I'm still not a fan of sprint races since they don't change anything at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you have a great fight in the sprint race or in the race itself. I simply prefer how a regular weekend schedule makes the entire weekend flow much more smoothly." While Verstappen was not optimistic about the sprint format, he was pleased by the Red Bull's performance, which had substantially less tire degradation than the Ferrari. He explained, "We had a really awful balance in qualifying and a completely different balance for the race in Australia. In terms of tire deg at the left front, that balance hurt us a lot. At the end of the day, this is a completely different circuit. Ferrari looked fantastic in Australia, but you'll have no problems here if you know what you're doing. The way the tires work is hit or miss. However, the lessons we learned in the second practice session proved to be beneficial in the race." Verstappen believed that some weight loss efforts performed by the Red Bull had also helped him, though he couldn't say how much. "It's difficult to say since Friday was a bit of a chaotic day, so it's difficult to compare," he explained. However, the feeling is noticeably better, and the car is noticeably lighter than before. "I do feel a little better now, certainly. However, the cars are still quite new and the tires are extremely sensitive." Helmut Marko about Max's win. According to Helmut Marko, Max Verstappen had a pleasant weekend at Imola, even if the race was nerve-wracking for his team on the pit wall. Verstappen leaves Italy with 34 points from the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix weekend, substantially closing the gap on title rival Charles Leclerc. Given the circumstances of a weekend that saw rain showers threaten to cause havoc, his success will be even sweeter. As Red Bull celebrated their first 1-2 since the 2016 Malaysian Grand Prix, Marko told Service TV, "It was a great weekend, the optimal number of points. For us, the race itself was nerve-wracking. It didn't want to come to an end, but I believe you noticed that Max was not stressed at all. It was a breeze for him." Ending thoughts with Ferrari. Ferrari's race on home soil, where they were hoping to celebrate a return to F1 domination, was a disaster. Charles Leclerc led the championship heading into Sunday with 2 wins in the first 3 races. And Carlos Sainz Jr. signed a 2-year contract extension this weekend in Italy. However, Leclerc was unable to obtain a head start on Verstappen and was never able to compete. Sainz's race was ruined when he went off course on the first lap, while Leclerc's attempt to save the day for Ferrari was thwarted when he spun while chasing Perez for the second. He eventually came in 6th place. At the start of the weekend, Leclerc held a 46-point advantage over defending champion Verstappen in the standings, but Verstappen closed the gap to 27 points and moved into second. "I was overly greedy and paid the price," Leclerc told Sky Sports. "I lost 7 potential points. It's a pity. It's 7 points that will undoubtedly be valuable towards the conclusion of the tournament, and it shouldn't happen again." It was a good experience for Verstappen, but he always says that mistakes should be made to allow you to learn from them and improve and always have room for improvement.